A young man leaves his home, drains his bank accounts, buys a one-way ticket out of the country, and days later, he's found dead, half-naked, surrounded by cash, gold, and jewelry. No weapon, no clear motive, and no logical explanation. This is the chilling, unsolved mystery of Blair Adams. But to understand how it ended, we have to start from the beginning. What could push a man to run from his own life? Blair Adams was born on June 28, 1964, in British Columbia, Canada. A quiet kid, kind-hearted, polite, the type people described as well-behaved and friendly. He wasn't known to be violent, troublesome, or rebellious. No reports of bullying, no troubled childhood we know of. A normal boy with a normal life. He grew up in Surrey, BC, raised in what seemed like a stable family. He loved sports, worked hard, and as he entered adulthood, he became a construction foreman, responsible, well-paid, trusted at work. Nothing about his early life hinted at what was coming. Have you ever met someone who looked perfectly fine on the outside, but something was breaking inside? Sometime in 1996, everything changed. Friends noticed Blair becoming anxious, paranoid. He began telling people someone was out to kill him, but he couldn't explain who or why. He stopped eating normally, started showing up to work nervous, quit his job out of nowhere, told his mother he couldn't sleep. Something or someone scared him deeply. Was it mental health? A real threat? A secret he never shared? Nobody knows. And what he did next would shock everyone around him. On July 5, 1996, Blair walked into his bank and emptied his safety deposit box. Thousands of dollars in cash, gold bars, jewelry. He stuffed it into his bag, like someone preparing to disappear forever. He then bought a one-way ticket to Germany at first, but then abruptly canceled it. Hours later, he purchased a ticket to the United States instead. Knoxville, Tennessee, a place he had no family, no friends, no business in. Why Knoxville? No one can answer that. Would you ever run to another country if you believed someone wanted you dead? But Blair's journey only got stranger from here. In the next part, the border confrontation, the failed hotel check-ins, and the last haunting hours before his death. With cash and gold loaded in his bag, Blair headed for the U.S. border. He acted tense, sweating, unfocused, and when agents questioned him, they noticed something alarming. He had a large amount of money, but no luggage, no clothes, no real travel purpose. Authorities denied him entry. They suspected he was involved in drug trafficking or smuggling. Even though there was no evidence of that, Blair returned home, but only for a short while, because the fear in his eyes didn't go away. If someone stopped you from running, would that make you feel safer or more trapped? Just hours later, Blair tried again. This time, he managed to cross. He traded his car for a new one without explanation. He flew to Washington, D.C., then rented another car and drove south, over 500 miles, straight to Knoxville. Witnesses later said Blair looked exhausted, frightened, like a man being hunted. But hunted by who? Police found no stalker, no enemy, no debt collector, nothing linking him to danger. On July 10, 1996, Blair showed up at a gas station. Security footage captured something strange. Blair stood outside the station, pacing like he was waiting for someone, or running from someone. He tried checking into a hotel across the road, but he couldn't. He walked in and out of the lobby multiple times, holding his money in his hand. Not even in a wallet, just loose cash. Staff said he seemed confused, like he wanted to check in but couldn't decide. He would leave, come back, leave again. Eventually, after nearly an hour of odd behavior, he paid for a room. But here's the disturbing part. He never took the key. Why book a room and walk away? Who or what was Blair running from that night? Hours later, very early morning, Blair was seen walking near a construction site. He wasn't dressed for the night. No luggage. No bag. No gold. Nothing. Workers arrived later that morning. What they found would shock Knoxville and confuse investigators for decades. Blair Adams was lying on the ground, half naked, with his money scattered around him like someone poured it out intentionally. There were no signs of robbery. The cash was untouched. Jewelry untouched. The gold untouched. It looked less like a mugging and more like a message. Why kill a man and leave everything valuable behind? What sense does that make? The autopsy revealed something even stranger. Blair wasn't stabbed. He wasn't shot. His injuries told a different story entirely. Evidence, theories, and the lasting mystery that haunts investigators to this day. When Blair's body was examined, medical investigators found something unusual. He died from sepsis, caused by a violent blow to his stomach and abdomen. He was beaten, but not with fists. More like a car crash impact or a heavy object thrown with force. No gunshot wounds. No stab marks. No defensive wounds on his hands. Like he never even fought back. His pants were removed. His socks were off. His shoes taken off and placed neatly nearby. It felt staged, deliberate, ritualistic even. Why remove his clothes? Humiliation? Confusion tactic? Or something far darker? If it were robbery, the killer would have taken the money. If it were an escape, why carry gold and jewelry, only to leave them behind in death? Police found no weapon, no fingerprints that led anywhere. DNA didn't match anyone in the system. Witnesses? None. No one saw who Blair met that night, or if he met anyone at all. The case felt like a puzzle with pieces intentionally removed. One theory suggests Blair was mentally unstable, possibly experiencing paranoia or psychosis, running from a threat that only existed in his mind. But if he hallucinated danger, how do we explain the fatal blow that ended his life? Hallucinations don't kill you. Others believe he was targeted. Maybe he knew something. Maybe he saw something. Or maybe someone wanted him silenced. Do you believe this was mental collapse? Or murder with motive? Because the next theory takes us somewhere even more mysterious. Some investigators wondered if Blair was involved, knowingly or unknowingly, with drug traffickers. His sudden fear, the money withdrawal, the border suspicion, a trip that never made sense. But there was no record of criminal involvement, no gang ties, no drug history. His family insisted he was clean. Friends said he was kind, spiritual, relaxed. If criminals were after him, why leave valuables untouched? Why such a personal method of death? Unless it wasn't about the money. But a warning. There's one more theory, the most chilling. Some believe Blair was lured, that someone promised safety, but delivered death. His mother later said Blair told her, "Something is after me." He never explained what. Was it real? Or fear created by a breaking mind? Whatever happened, someone or something ended his life that night and left more questions than answers. If Blair could speak today, what do you think he would say happened that night? The murder of Blair Adams remains unsolved. A man who ran across countries, chased by fear, only to die alone in a parking lot with a fortune at his feet. No clear motive, no suspect, no closure. But this is not where the story ends, because there are newer clues, witness recollections, and hidden patterns in Blair's final hours. That may change everything we think we know about this case. Not long after Blair's body was discovered, investigators learned about a witness a hotel worker, who remembered Blair's last hours differently than police reports first suggested. The staff said Blair appeared hectic, like he was trying to escape something, but also that he was calm at odd moments, pausing as if listening for something or someone outside the door. It was as if Blair expected someone to meet him there. Do you think Blair was running from danger or expecting a rescue that never came? Between Blair leaving the hotel and being found dead, there are several hours unaccounted for. Hours where nobody knows what he did, who he met, or where he went. For a man in fear, every minute mattered. So where was Blair in those missing hours? Did he finally meet the person he was trying to escape? Or did someone find him first? Because what police discovered near the body makes the story even stranger. Next to Blair's body, police found his belongings spilled like a ritual. Money laid out, jewelry shining, gold coins untouched. But something was missing: his car key. Later, the key was found far away from the crime scene, tossed into a nearby construction site. Why move it? Why separate it from the body? This wasn't random. Someone wanted confusion. If this was just violence, why stage the scene so carefully? One medical theory suggests Blair may have been struck during a frantic escape, running into something or someone. The blow caused internal rupture leading to sepsis. But that doesn't explain the clothes removal, nor the staged valuables, nor the key relocation, unless someone cleaned up afterward. And that leads us to one of the darkest theories yet. Some believe Blair was silenced, not randomly killed. Maybe he witnessed something. Maybe he trusted the wrong person. Maybe someone needed him gone, fast and quietly. Professionals don't take money. They kill quickly. They leave it looking unplanned to confuse investigators. And Blair's case looks confusing by design. Did Blair try to escape a criminal network, a dangerous connection, or a secret he couldn't carry anymore? No evidence confirms it, but no evidence dismisses it either. If this was a hit, what was Blair worth killing for? Why Knoxville? Why that random motel? Why carry wealth and never use it? Why fear death without naming a threat? Why run so far only to die alone? Every clue opens another door instead of closing one. Every step Blair took made less sense than the last. Maybe Blair wasn't escaping someone. Maybe he was running toward someone, desperate for help that never came. The case of Blair Adams remains one of the most bizarre deaths in North American true crime history. A man haunted by fear, carrying a fortune, and dying with nothing stolen. Almost like the message wasn't in what was taken, but in what was left untouched. Final theories, psychological breakdown, possible suspects, patterns that might reveal the truth, and the haunting legacy Blair left behind. Some psychologists believe Blair was in the middle of a severe mental break, paranoia, delusions, fear without cause. It could explain the running, the confusion, the pacing in the hotel, the feeling that danger was closing in. But even if his mind was crumbling, the physical trauma that killed him still requires a source. People don't beat themselves to death. Do you think Blair was suffering? Or sensing danger that nobody else could see? A lesser-discussed theory proposes Blair accidentally crossed paths with traffickers during work in construction or social circles. Maybe he saw something. Maybe he heard something. And maybe someone couldn't risk him talking. His sudden fear, his attempt to flee the country, his paranoia. It fits a pattern. But again, no proof. No trail, just a possibility. And one last possibility is eerily spiritual. Blair's mother said he was deeply spiritual, sensitive, intuitive. Some believe he felt his death coming, like a premonition pressing on him until he broke. He may not have understood what he was running from, only that he had to run. Maybe the tragedy isn't just how he died, but how desperately he tried to live. Decades have passed. No killer named. No motive proven. Case still open, but cold. His family still waits. The world still wonders. And Blair Adams remains frozen in mystery. Every theory answers one question, but leaves two more behind. Maybe that's why this case haunts so many people, not because of how Blair died, but because of how close he was to escape, yet never made it. Which theory makes the most sense to you? Hit job, mental collapse, trafficking connection, or something supernatural? Comment below. Your insight might connect a dot others missed. In the end, Blair Adams was just a man searching for safety, but found chaos instead. His story reminds us that fear can be louder than reason. Danger can hide in the familiar, and sometimes the biggest mysteries are carried inside a human mind. Thank you for watching. If this case moved you the way it moved us, hit subscribe, like, and share this story so Blair is never forgotten. More dark mysteries, solved and unsolved, coming soon.